Oops, had to unmute my mic. Hey y'all, it has been so long since I have been live, and I'm super excited to hang out with y'all today. I want to talk about how marketing has changed. So if you're on my email list, I've sent out some information about some of the changes that have happened in my life and in my business, and how I've been making some shifts to move with God, and how I'll tell you the biggest shift that I've made in my business is one of the things that I've been feeling led to do for a long time is to teach Bible and business combined together. So some of you, if you don't know me, my name is Shanta Prince, and I work with women of faith, and I teach them how to turn their God given gifts and expertise into an online business. So I wanted to start out by saying that so you could understand the changes that I've made. So before I ever taught business, I taught Bible. I taught in churches, I've taught Bible studies, and led Sunday services and things like that. And my husband and I have led small groups together. And then from there, I branched out into teaching personal branding and online business. But lately, I had been feeling a strong pull to shift to teaching not just business or not just Bible, but both Bible and business. So that's one of the biggest changes in my business. And if you're on my email list, I talked about how I know that some people are just gonna just fall off. Some people are just going to want to unfollow and do whatever they need to do that works for them. And I'm okay with that because I'm going with God. And so I'm super excited to be jumping back in the game, and really, as far as going live here on Facebook, and also on Substack. I'm going to talk about Substack in just a few minutes. But one of the things that I wanted to jump on here today and talk to you about, and we'll be talking about this more in the future, is how online business has changed, how marketing has changed, but not just how marketing has changed, but what to actually do about it. Because here's the thing, like, it's one thing to understand that something is shifting or that something is different, but it's another thing to understand what to do about it. Like, how do I navigate through this? So one of the biggest changes that has happened in with online business, and I know you already know this, is AI. AI is everywhere. Artificial intelligence. If you haven't heard of it, I don't know where you've been, but AI is everywhere. As a matter of fact, HubSpot is reporting that 94% of marketers are planning to use AI for their work and in their businesses, specifically for content creation. So that is one of the things that has shifted the landscape of online marketing. And the reason why is because people can get content out faster, and they're putting out content quickly, but there's some things that go along with it, and we'll get into that shortly. But people are able to put out content faster and more frequently. And what that does is it really saturates the market with saturates social media and all of these other content platforms with tons of content. And I know sometimes it can be overwhelming, especially if you're like, well, I don't know if I want to use AI in my business or not. There is a way to use AI in a way that doesn't take away from you. So the thing is, AI cannot replace your gifts, your expertise, your experience. But some people are trying to use AI to do just that. They want to use AI to replace them. People, and this is not new. Most people don't like to be on camera. They don't like to go live. They don't want to talk to people. They don't want to sell. And so it makes it easier to just hide behind AI. And the problem with that is if you don't know how to use AI the right way, then you just start to sound just like everybody else who's using AI. As a matter of fact, if anybody who uses we'll just use Chat GPT for an example. Anyone who uses Chat GPT consistently, you start to recognize that Chat GPT writes with a specific cadence. And anytime I see this rhythm, that ChatGPT uses, I can immediately identify that content or that post was made using ChatGPT. So what happens is the more everybody starts to use AI, everybody just kind of starts to sound the same. And that's one of the superpowers that's going to help you to stand out in this era is staying true to your authentic voice. So if you use AI, you have to know how to use AI like a leader and not allow AI to replace your voice. So the thing is, because people are able to put out content so fast, you've got to find a way to connect with your audience in an authentic way. And this is so interesting, you guys, because for those of you who have been connected with me for a long time, you know that I always talk about being connected. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I have always said to my clients is connect before you collect. And what I mean by that is before you ever try to collect a payment or sell something and get paid, you should be trying to first connect with people, because AI is so dominant that you've got two different sides of the coin. Some people love it and some people really just soak it all in. But then there's some people who are having an aversion to AI, meaning they're frustrated because they're like, oh, I thought this was real and it's not real. It's fake. It's AI. Even my son, when my son gets his online time, his tablet time, he gets so frustrated when he's like, this is so AI. And, he just gets angry because he's like, I don't want to see AI. I want to see real stuff, because he likes to see, watch planes take off and watch trains and ships and all of those things. But he doesn't like when something is AI. So people are also having that same type of aversion. As a matter of fact, I was in Bible study the other day, and one of the ladies said her approach is she's just like, I just considered everything to just not be real because it's hard to tell the difference between what's real and what's fake. So she's like, I'm just considering it all fake. But the thing is, you guys, one of the things that I've always taught to my clients is to go live, get on live video, and connect with your people. It does not get any more authentic than that, okay? Go on live and connecting with your people. But I know some people just hate going live and getting on camera, but I'm telling you, if you're going live and you're maintaining that authenticity with your audience, you're going to soar during this time, because people are going to flock to you, because guess what? Going live and being on camera with your audience builds trust faster. Now, I will tell you that right now, short video is dominating online marketing. Like, short form video is really powerful and it's dominating. Live video is also powerful. But the thing about live video is live video builds trust faster than short video. So if you have a combination of short form video, like reels and things like that, and then you combine that with going live and hanging out with your audience, spending time with them, answering their questions, you can take your marketing to a whole new level. So there are some advantages to, this AI era. I use AI, but I use it in a very specific way. I don't allow it to speak for me. I'm telling AI what I need it to do, and it's based on my experience and my expertise. So I don't go to AI for whatever experience or that it's pulling from. I'm going with my own expertise and telling it what I need for it to do. So I talked about how 94% of marketers are planning to use AI in their business. That's almost everybody, you guys. Everybody is planning to use AI in some form. But the thing is, like I said, it can't replace your leadership, your expertise, your experience. But it can help you get things done faster, but it's not intended to replace you. So when you connect with your audience on a regular basis, you build trust, you build authority, and a whole bunch of other things. And I'm telling you right now that the thing that's going to help you to be able to sell more efficiently during this time is connection, relationships with your audience. And so this is not anything new. And I'm just, it really makes me sit back and think, because I always like to teach principle. And what I mean by teaching principle is when I teach my clients certain things, I want to teach them things that last, like not trends, not something that's going to be different tomorrow. Teach them timeless principles that just don't go out of style. And one of those things is connection, relationships, connection that never goes out of style. So let me just give you an example. So my hairstylist, one of the things that she does that keeps me like on top of things and keeps me going back to sit in her chair is she'll ask me, if I text her and if I ask her a question, like for example, if I text her and say, hey, I want to get, the specific kind of deep conditioner, do you have this or do you do this? And she'll say, yes, I do that. When would you like to come in and get that done? So she always asks, and then the next thing I know, I'm booking an appointment when I really did not intend to, which I'm kind of glad she does that, because the way that my mind is set up, I would forget and then try to get at the last minute, and that's just too much. But anyway, the reason why it works is because we have a relationship. So if she invites me to come in, then I just take her up on that offer because I know her and I trust her. And y'all know that there's so many horror stories with like stylists these days, like so many issues with trust and consistency. Y'all, I'm just so thankful for my stylist. But because I have a relationship with her, because I trust her, I just go ahead and book. And let me tell you, she's expensive. But it's worth it. The service that she provides is so worth it. But that's because we have a relationship. So when you build relationships with your audience and you ask them something or they ask you something, it's easier for you to move them into the sale. And when they trust you, they know that they're going to get something amazing. So I have certain people that I buy from, and that I buy from them because I know it's going to be awesome. So if I pay $1,000 for it, I know I'm going to get $10,000 worth of value. And it's because I trust them. So live video, while short form video is dominating, live video builds trust faster. And that's one of the things that I always encourage my clients to do is show up, connect with your audience, and build trust. In this era, you guys, marketing is less about the vanity metrics. You know what I mean? Like when I say vanity metrics, I mean like likes, comments, things like that. Like, how you post something and you're like, oh, how is my viewership? Are people looking at it? Are people responding? Those things are good. But at the end of the day, right now, marketers are starting to focus more on like conversions. Like, how is this converting? Conversion is when somebody actually takes action. So if you post your link to join your program, and I see this all the time, and I still see this all the time, even though I talk about it over and over and over again. When a person posts a link to their program and nobody clicks on it, right? So when you look at your conversion rate, you want to look at, well, how many people took the action that I wanted them to take versus how many people actually saw it. So if you make a post and you say, hey, come over here and, join my Facebook group. If you do that and then you get 20 new people that click that link and come over and join, then that's conversion because they took the action that you wanted them to take or that you asked them to take. And so now people are looking more at, okay, how is my content converting? Or how is what I'm doing converting? How is it making a difference? The other thing that marketers are looking at more than the vanity metrics is they're looking at what is the quality of my leads. And this is something that I teach as well. You want to have quality followers, connections, not just anybody. And sometimes this could be a hard concept for people to understand, but I know you get it. It's better for you to have 100 people who are actually interested in what you do than 1,000 people who don't care about what you do. So that's what I mean by like the lead quality. How suitable is this person for your offer? Can you actually help them? Do they have the problem that you solve? And also, can they afford to invest? So those are the things that determine a quality lead. Now, sometimes you'll come across people, of course, who maybe they're not a good fit for your program, or maybe they're not ready to join your program right now, but they may become big fans of your brand, and they'll promote your stuff. They'll invite people to your group and things like that. I love those kind of people. And I have a lot of those people in my audience. They may never buy from me, but they're always rooting for me and cheering me on and commenting and sharing and inviting people. And that is amazing. Okay. So we're talking about AI and how AI is dominating online marketing, but how you can stay on top of things and counter that. So the number one thing is building authentic connections, real connections with your audience. Now let's talk about some ways to do that, because I know you're probably like, okay, well, how do I do that? Well, one of the things is like going live, like I just talked about, going live and in real time. You guys, I'm telling you, there's nothing like it. And I know some of y'all are like, I don't want to get on camera. I have one of my clients who eventually when she started out, she did not like getting on camera. Now she's on camera more than I am. So you can change. You can get to the point where you're like, okay, I did not like this, but now I really enjoy it. You guys, just think about it like this. Like, if you're buying something, wouldn't you want someone to provide like a quality service? When you go live and you hang out with your audience, it shows them that you care. It shows them that you're interested in what they're trying to do. You're interested in their goals, where they're trying to go. And it really just builds connection. So going live, and I'm probably going to preach this until the end. Going live is a quick way to build trust with your audience. Another way to connect with your audience and build trust is, I love the DMs. I love DMing my ideal clients and chatting with them. And they know they can, whether they're a current client or a past client or a potential client. Most people who have been connected to me, they know they can email, they can send me a message or an email, and I will respond if they have a question or anything like that. Even if they're not in my program, if I can answer the question within the scope of like sending them a message or a voice note, I do that. It's just a part of service, but it's because of the relationship that I have with my ideal clients. So DMs are very powerful for connecting. And I think a lot of people are afraid of the DMs because they think you're supposed to just jump in the DMs and make an offer. As a matter of fact, somebody did that to me just earlier today. They just jumped in my DMs and was like, hey, use my code to get this discount on whatever. And I'm like, wow, no, hello, how you doing? No, seeing if I really actually need this, or if it's going to be something that's beneficial to me, just dropping it in my messenger. And so that's not really a relationship. A relationship is when you're able to send an ideal client a DM and say, hey, Shanta, I know that last week we talked about how you're trying to make your first 6 figures online. I know you've already made 6 figures in your corporate job, but now you want to make your next 6 figures online. And I've got this free masterclass that's coming up, and I think you might be interested in it. Would you like me to send you more details? Many times when I do that, I very rarely get a no. Like, very rarely does someone say, no, thanks. But the reason why I rarely get a no is because I'm sending them something that's aligned with where they're trying to go. Well, how do I know where they're trying to go? Because I have a relationship with them, and I've been chatting with them in the messages, getting to know them, understanding what they want, what they're dreaming about, what keeps them up at night. And so because of that, I know what offers to create, and I know who to invite to what. And I know, y'all, it sounds like a lot, but it's really not. If you make it just a part of your day where you're regularly connecting with your people, it becomes so much easier and it becomes a delight. You guys, I honestly feel like my clients are my friends. So, they know a lot about me. I know a lot about them. And I remember when I first started really making great sales and business, the reason why I started making more sales is because at first I was struggling. And I said to one of my mentors, I said, I'm really good at the relationship part. Like, I'm really good at building relationships. But when it comes to selling, I struggle with that because, like, I'm making friends. Like, these ladies are becoming my friends. And she said one thing to me that changed how I see all of this. She said, why would you not want to help your friends? And I just got really quiet and I said, yeah, like, why wouldn't I want to help my friends? I'm already great at connecting and building the relationships, which to me are like friendships. So why not help my friend? Why would you not want to help your friend? So listen, y'all, this is the simplest way to describe what I mean by building relationships. Okay. So here's the thing. You make friends and then you help your friends, right? That's a very simple way of saying, build relationships and make offers based on what this person needs. Now, every offer you have may not be for everybody, but you won't know that unless you're connecting with them in the DMs. Now, I'll tell you one of the easiest ways that I taught my clients how to get in the DMs, because I know sometimes when you DM somebody, it can feel so awkward because you may feel like, well, what do I say to this person? Do I just send them a DM and say, hey, like, what do I say to this person? One of the easiest ways that I taught my clients how to get in those DMs is to just simply start a Facebook group. And if you start a Facebook group, let's say you want to work with moms, stay-at-home moms who want to get in shape, right? And so if you create your Facebook group around something that they aspire to be, like I'm just making this up as I go along, y'all. So let's say your Facebook group is fit stay-at-home moms. So what happens is people are going to say, okay, that's where I'm trying to get to. And they're going to join your group. And so when they join your group, obviously they're interested in being a stay-at-home mom who's fit. So that the Facebook group is like a magnet. It's pulling people in. And so when they join your group, you just send them a simple welcome message and thank them for joining your group. And boom, you're in the DMs, right? You're in those DMs. And that starts the conversation. Now, another way you can get into the DMs is you can have people comment for a specific thing. Let's say you have this, I don't know, this meal plan, this 7-day meal plan for how to lower your blood sugar. And let's say you say, okay, comment health, and then I'll send it to you. I'll DM it to you. So that's one practical way that you can get into those DMs, because you got to, hop in those messages to send them that form. But basically what that person is doing is they're raising their hand and they're saying, listen, I'm interested in that. And so if they're interested in that, then they should be interested in whatever program you're selling. So those are two practical ways you can jump in those DMs, and there's so many ways, y'all. Those are just a couple of examples of how you can get into a relationship or a conversation with a potential client. Okay. Now, the other thing that has changed about marketing is people are buying later in the buying process. So there's a process that you take people through when someone is interested in buying from you. Usually they may find you on whatever platform you're on. Let's say you're on Instagram and someone finds you on Instagram and they're like, oh man, I love this content. I'm excited about this person and I want to know more about, what they're doing. And then let's say when they follow you, you send them a message and say, hey, thanks so much for the follow. This is what I have to offer. And you start to get to know that person. Then let's say you offer a free, 30-minute masterclass and you invite them to that masterclass. So you see, like, I'm going through like a process. Like there's a process for how a person goes from a potential client to a paying client. And if you don't have a sales process, then that's something that I can help you with. But there's a process and you have to have different things along the way to move them through the process. And so what's happening is people are buying later in the process now. I had a client who, one of my sales processes that I used to do is I would do these really long launches. And I still love, because I love to teach. So I would go live for maybe like 5 days, 6 days in a row, and I would just teach and make offers. And I had one client who said, you know what? This is my third time going through this. She's talking about my 5-day launch. She's like, this is my third time going through this. Let me just stop playing and jump into this program. And she did. She jumped into my program, and it was not a low ticket program. It was a high ticket program. And so she joined the program, but it took her 3 launches to finally say, okay, let me just jump in here. And so that's what I mean by like, there's a process. And if you're consistent, you'll start to get people in your programs that have been following you for years, but because you stayed consistent and because you built trust and because they watched you for a long time, now they're ready. That's one of the reasons why you got to stay consistent, because sometimes it takes some people longer than it takes some others. So for some people, they may join quickly. They may join the minute they see you on Instagram, they click in your link, they're buying your programs. But for some people, it takes more time. And that's what's happening right now, is more people are taking more time to buy. They're not buying quickly unless they know you already. And so what that means for you is staying consistent, and especially not getting discouraged, because you may think, oh, I've done this, I've done that. And, still this person hasn't bought yet, but it's just right now, marketing feels harder. Sales feels harder because people are buying later in the buying process. And so that means you got to keep going. You got to stay consistent. One of the things that helps with people who take a long time to buy is to continue to teach. I am a believer in teaching before you sell. I call it serve before you sell. Because when you teach something, it gives your ideal client an opportunity to see your style, get to know you, and see what it's like to work with you. So I am big on just showing up and serving. Even if you just hit the live button and said, hey, I'm taking all your questions about how to do a small business taxes, whatever I'm just using it as an example. I'm taking all your questions on how to, and then you insert whatever you do, and you just hit that live button and you just let people ask questions. Now, of course, with something like that, you will want to schedule that out or take questions in advance so you can just go live and answer all those questions. That makes a huge difference. When people ask you questions and you answer them, that makes a big difference in how they perceive you, because they're seeing you in action. They're seeing the gifts that God gave you working out in real time. And so that also builds trust, and it establishes you as an authority. And those are 2 things that are really important in this time for you. If you're building any type of coaching business or service-based business, your authority is very important. And also having that real connection. So authority is crucial. People have to see you as an authority. Well, how do I establish myself as an authority? You give value. You help people to think differently. You give people something to chew on. You shift their thoughts. One of my most successful launches was because I focused a lot on shifting my audience's thinking, because I know my ideal clients so well and I know what they struggle with. I'm able to break those beliefs. And you have people who you're called to work with, and you're called to break some of their false beliefs. Like, think about it. What's some of the things that your people are struggling with, or something that your people believe that's just not true? Everybody has them. All of us have people who believe something that's not true, that's keeping them back from moving forward. It's keeping them back from taking the next step. And so what you do is you break that false belief. So one of the things, for example, is that my ideal client struggled with is thinking that, I have to have a website before I can launch. And that's just not true. You don't need a website. What you really need is an offer and a payment processor. You need something to sell and a way to get paid. That's really all you need. And so when I'm teaching, that's one of the beliefs that I'm breaking. Another one is that, I have to have certifications. No, you don't need certifications. I mean, those are nice to have, but you don't need certifications. What you need is a clear process that your ideal clients can identify and say, so if she's going to help me go from A to B, this is the journey that we're going to go on. And so when you build authority, I always talk, when I talk to my clients, I talk about how you got to have like well-rounded content. So what I mean by well-rounded is if I go to your page and I'm interested in working with you and all I see is fun videos, and I love some fun videos, right? So this is what happened when you only have like fun videos. What happens is you'll get engagement. You'll get people saying, "Oh, that's so cute," or "Oh, I love that video," but they won't buy from you. And the reason why they won't buy from you is because you haven't established yourself as an authority. And because you haven't taught anything, you haven't given any value, you're just creating fun videos, which, there's nothing wrong with that, but keep creating the fun videos, but also have videos that establish you as an authority where you're giving something of value. I'm a firm believer in giving giving before you ask, giving before you receive. And it's very powerful. It's reciprocity, because when you give, then people automatically, they have the desire to give back to you because you gave something to them. So, but I know some people are just so afraid to teach. They're afraid, oh, what if I give away my best information? No, you should give away your best information. A lot of the stuff that I teach, like, I teach more in depth behind the scenes with my clients. But if you go to my YouTube channel, I probably have over 100 videos, even though some of them are like what I would consider ancient now because technology moves so fast. But I have, a lot of videos that you can go through and probably get enough information to really do something awesome. But I don't have any limitations on how I give. I give abundantly. And then in the power of reciprocity, people buy from me because they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I want more of this. And that kind of leads me to the next thing that I want to talk about. So we talked about how AI is dominating, and the way that you deal with AI dominating is you stay authentic, you go live, you connect with your ideal clients, and you focus on building relationships. Focus on connecting with your ideal clients, making sure they know that you see them. That's important. Making sure they know that you see them. And we talked about how people are able to just get that content out so fast. But if your content is authentic and you're connecting with people on a regular basis, you will soar, and you will soar during this time. So the other thing is that we talked about how the goal of marketing right now is less about the vanity metrics and more about converting people, more about the quality of who you're connecting with. And it's really less about, just putting content out, any kind of content out. And this is leading me to my next point. We're in a space right now where we have enough information. Most of us have AI, some type of AI app on our phone, whether it's ChatGPT or some other form of AI. We have enough information right now. Okay. What people need right now is leadership. People need leadership right now, and they need guidance. And let me just explain what I mean by that. So in this AI era, and in this time where people are, buying later in the process, we need leaders. Okay. So there's a difference between a person who just creates content and a person who's leading in their space. And that goes back to what I talked about, to where you can have a whole bunch of just fun videos, but where are your videos that establish you as an authority that are going to get people excited to work with you and excited to buy from you? So in this time, you got to think outside of just creating content and think, how can I lead my audience through this? Let me give you a prime example. So with AI on the rise, AI is not going anywhere. It's just like when we first started getting these social media platforms, social media is not going anywhere. AI is not going anywhere. And so during this time, You've got to know how to lead. So let me give you an example. A leader, instead of just putting out any type of content, leadership content is helping people to navigate through things. So let's say, for example, you are a lawyer and a new law just came out. A leader would show up and say, hey, listen, you guys, this law just changed. And let me tell you what that means for you and how you can navigate through this. So I remember years ago when a whole bunch of things, the GDPR came out. And everybody's like, what is this GDPR stuff? It was a European regulation that came out that said you cannot tell people that something is free and then you're making them give you your email address. They have to consent to receiving emails for you, and you have to give them a way to get that free thing without opting into your email list. It was just a lot, and people just really were overwhelmed with it. And so some leaders rose up and were like, okay, listen, this new regulation just came out. Here's how you can get through this. Here's how you can navigate through this. And that's what I mean by what people need right now is leadership, and they need guidance because we all have enough information. So I think there's really a new wave of leaders who have to rise up now because you got to think big picture and think, okay, how do I separate myself from everybody else who's creating content using AI? Most people are using AI to create content. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. Of course, if you're using it the right way, you're going to thrive. Okay. If you're using AI as like a leader, okay. Leaders don't use AI the same way a content creator uses AI. Leaders are using AI quite differently. And I'll talk more about this later, but I see some huge disparities between how just a regular content creator is using it versus how leaders are using AI. We'll talk about that sometime soon. So you have to lead. I want you to think about some of the things that's happening in your space right now. It may be different for all of us, but whatever niche you're in, think about something that's happening right now and how you can lead your people through it. So when we're inundated with information, sometimes it's difficult to process that and to know, okay, well, this is saying this, that's saying that. What do I do, right? This is how a lot of your ideal clients are. There's so much information. They don't know which way to go. They don't know if they should go left. They don't know if they should go right. And so you are the voice that's going to help them say, okay, this is what's really important. I know you've got all this information, but let me show you how to focus on what's really important. And let me tell you, understanding those things have really changed my life. When there's a bunch of information being thrown at me, and I can take that information and say, you know what? All of that stuff that they said doesn't really matter, but there's one thing that they said that really is like the domino, that main domino. When you push that first domino over, everything else falls over as well. But you have to be able to guide your people through what's important and help them to see how to move forward. So in this time, I want you to really take this seriously and think about how you can help your people make moves, because that's what it's really all about. How can you help them make moves? We got the information, right? But how can you inspire people to move forward? How can you direct them to what's important? And let me tell you, you are the expert. You know when you see something that's just like not right. Let's say you work with, women who are trying to, get healthy, and you see some health fad or something that's new. As soon as you see it, you're like, this is not healthy for my ideal client, but they should really focus on this thing over here. And if you create your content from that aspect of seeing yourself as a leader, it's going to change the game for you. All right, you guys. So we just got done talking about how marketing has changed and what to do about it. And I've already been live for 40 minutes. And listen, all of my people know I will get on here and just keep going, keep going and going and going, because this is one of my favorite things to do. So, but I want you to look at the link. The link should be in the caption, but I'll also post it in the comments if it's not there. Come on over and join me on Substack. I have moved a lot of my content and writing over to Substack. And part of it is because of a lot of the things that we've just talked about on Substack. Substack is really about having a voice and writing out your ideas and being able to communicate with y'all. Let me tell you, let me just say, it's a whole different ballgame on Substack. And you have people who are looking for people like you. They're looking for people who are leading, like we just talked about. They're looking for leaders. They're looking for people who have ideas and thoughts to share. And I will say, it's so powerful for you. If you love to write, you can really get on Substack and really build your platform and lead. I just got over there not so long ago, and it's been so fun connecting with people, y'all. It's so powerful. Maybe I'll take a day and like really go into the power of Substack. But if you're not on Substack already, come on over. The link should be in the caption. Come on over and join me over there, and consider becoming a subscriber. There's a free version. There's a paid version. Come on over there and connect with me, and you'll see even more. So my goal is to Substack is just so different, but I want to create a different type of content, so that my Substack people know that they're getting something that they're not getting from anywhere else. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't want people to feel like, well, why should I come over to Substack when I'm already on Facebook and I'm getting getting the information on Facebook. But you'll see more about the power of Substack. If you're not on there already, just, download the app and just go on there and see what people are doing and how people are using Substack. So at first I was just using it for, like, I was on there, but I was like getting recipes and stuff like that because, I love to bake bread and bake cupcakes and things like that. So I'm over there getting all the recipes. But then I recently just shifted to started using it for myself and for my audience. All right, guys. So thank you so much for hanging out. Natasha, I see you, girl. And I hope that you have a wonderful day. And I plan to get outside, get a little bit of sun, get some time in the Word, and work on some more content creations. If you have any questions about anything that I talked about, feel free to leave a comment, or you can send me an email at info@shantaprince.com, or, like my people already know, you can shoot me a DM. All right. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again soon.